Good evening, guys. It's coming up 3 minutes to 10 in the UK, which is 3 minutes from the end of day. Big day tomorrow. We've had the FOMC minutes this evening, which basically indicated that the Fed are very hawkish still, and they believe it's more detrimental not to raise rates aggressively and let inflation run out of control than it is to raise interest rates aggressively and potentially cause recession. So let's see what's going to happen. Tomorrow we've got CPI data. That will give us an inkling of how they may potentially react after this next CPI reading coming into the November FOMC meeting. Now, one thing to note was PPI data today came in quite hot, above forecast. And the question is, how will the Fed react and what will happen and how will that impact crypto, commodities, indexes, and the US dollar? So I'm going to start with the dollar index. We have to go right out to the monthly chart and zoom right back until early 2000. And you can see that the last time the dollar broke anywhere up where we are now, 114, it ran on to 120. So the question is, are we going to see a blow off top and the US dollar continue to surge up to 120? Or are we going to see a bit of a retracement, a lower high printed, and then the dollar to come back down towards 100? Well, my opinion right now is I think we're going to continue to see dollar strength. The Fed remain hawkish. But CPI data tomorrow will give us another insight as to what the dollar will potentially do in coming weeks and months. Now, when we look at dollar strength, how does that impact everything else? Well, dollar strength usually has a move in terms of commodity prices tend to depreciate a little bit because other markets that have to buy everything in US dollars tend to spend less because it's costing them more. So crypto, is there a correlation? Well, look, simple way to look at correlations is let's just turn this to a line chart. So that's the dollar index. We can see, I'm just going to remove that line. In fact, let's leave that like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring it in. I'm going to bring in Bitcoin just so you can have a look to see how the correlation works between the dollar. So look, as the dollar is appreciating, what have we seen? Yes, there was a period here where Bitcoin also appreciated, but predominantly it's a negative correlation. As dollar increases, we can see that the Bitcoin predominantly moves the opposite direction. As we see Bitcoin strengthen, we've seen the dollar depreciate. As we've seen Bitcoin start to depreciate, we've seen the dollar appreciation. So they're kind of an inverted correlation, but there's times of year where that goes out of sync. So really, to see Bitcoin start appreciating, are we going to need to see either Bitcoin continue to get to a point where it's seen as good value amongst retail investors, institutions, that they have to start buying it because they see it as good value, or are we going to have to see the dollar start to sell off? Or is it going to be a combination of both? Well, let's take a look at Bitcoin and see how we could potentially take advantage of any market opportunities. So the reason I've showed you the correlation is so that you can use this as a little bit of a tool. So if you do see dollar index start to roll over, you might find that you can use Bitcoin as an area and start looking, right, well, where do I want to see structure break? And that's what we're going to look at now with Bitcoin. So let me just go over to my other list. I'm just going to come down here and remove that, and we're going to go back to candle chart. Okay, there we go. Right, let's take a look at Bitcoin. So from a technical perspective, let's get rid of this. We can see 2017 highs where the market is struggling at now around $18,500. So let's zoom in at the current price. What have we seen? Well, on the weekly chart, we've seen a small correction, an impulsive move, and then we've failed to break above this high here, and we failed to break below these lows. So in order for the market to move, we need to see a breakout of some kind of structure. So if we go down to the daily chart now, we can see that there's another period of consolidation, which is between around 21, what is it? First part here, $22,500, but we come down here to around 20,300. and with the lows in and around 18,500. So we've got a $2,000 range that the market is sat within. We need to see it either break short or break to the upside. This area here, I don't think it's appealing. I don't think it's anything worth trading. If you're an intraday trader, you could look for rejection from this resistance area here, or you could look for a rejection from this support area. Realistically speaking, tomorrow the CPI data is either going to send the dollar soaring with more strength, which could see this break lower, and that's going to be my forecast. I'm still continuing to look for shorts in crypto, and therefore I'm looking for the opportunity to get short. My preference is going to be a short below 18,500. We could see initially a little bit of a spike higher on the CPI data, trying to drag buyers into the market before we see that move lower. So if it does push higher, is there anything that I could potentially look for to trade, and what would I look at? Well, structure point, is there anything that I can look at? Maybe 19,500. We can see the market's tested this area several times through this area, so we could potentially see the market push up. If we do get above that area, I'll be looking to short it on the way back down. Alternatively, I'm doing nothing through this area. I'll be setting alerts for the market to pierce 18,500, and then I'll be looking to get short on any corrective move. So once we get below this area here, I'll be looking for price to do some sort of correction pattern, coming back up, and then we'll look to trade it as it impulse moves lower. Ethereum, I put a video out the other week about Ethereum getting to 1,000, but as you can see, the crypto market has pretty much done nothing for a few weeks, and it has basically just been boring. It's been sat in this range. We know the longer something sits in a range, the more explosive the move is going to be to break out. The question is, are we going to break to the upside in towards this region here and create the A to B to C to D, and then that final third impulsive wave? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth wave, followed by that next potential move if you are Elliott wave enthusiast. It's not something that I'm particularly keen on or fond on, but it is something that I do notice if they are setting up quite cleanly, which this one could potentially do that. But essentially what I'm looking for is a break of sort of 1250 or push higher into around 1400, and then to collapse back down. Look for those intraday shorts in towards 1250. I'll hold a little bit, I won't hold it all, maybe sort of 20% of the trade, and then I'll be looking for, like I was talking about on Bitcoin, which is a corrective pattern after it's broken out, and then we'll look to trade that down towards $1,000. So that's my viewpoint on crypto. Sorry, that's MT4 just cutting in and out. So I will be looking for potential longs from in and around $1,000, which ideal timing would be sort of mid-November. So I'd like to see that one big flush out, attract a load of new investors into the market. Now, if it is going to do that, we will probably see the market not just test. Oh, it's sorry, it's because it's end of session. Servers switching on and off. I would expect to see the market not just test 1,000. I'd probably expect it to have a good breakthrough like this one here. And this will be just basically catching any stops, trying to get people screwed in the market, get rid of any leverage positions, because we know that not just we, but the whole marketplace knows that people will be looking for longs in and around here. So the question is, how do we get rid of those? And it's by taking the stops out, and there'll be leverage positions in here, so expect to see that. And then I'll be looking to catch it on the way back up. So I won't buy it as it's coming down. I'll wait to see if it is going to be a flush out, and I'll look for that dead cat bounce as it comes back to the upside. So that's it from crypto. I'm not going to look at anything else because the crypto market, like I said, and the last time I did a crypto video, the market was still doing the same thing. So there's not too much to focus on. We just have to be patient, wait for the move, and I think that bull move in the crypto space will be coming, or the rally will be starting somewhere between mid-November and early December. But on that note, if you did like the content tonight, guys, please give us a thumbs up, share it with any fellow traders, And if you're not yet subscribed, please do so. Good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.